second here. Charania has some things on Klay Thompson. Also, if the finals end today, teams can start negotiating with their players right after midnight. So maybe this whole posturing of Klay Thompson or whatnot, what's going on with that, maybe they're going to start negotiating this week, and Klay knows that. And so that window will be open, but maybe he'll go talk to other teams. I have no idea. But one thing is for certain is that the Warriors do need to get better, and they cannot run it back. And how do you get better? You need to get more athletic. Does that mean getting younger or older? You just need to get more athletic. Got to get some size. Got to have spacing. Because there's still something there with Stephen Curry. Draymond's still playing at a high level. You got some young studs in Kuminga. Maybe Moses Moody pops this season. I have no idea, but the Warriors definitely have to run it. They cannot run it back with what happened last season. Heck, what happened the last 2 seasons. So Klay Thompson, he's going to leave. Does anybody still think that Klay's a lock to be back with the Golden State Warriors? Because I heard a lot of that during the season. Like, Klay's not going anywhere. The big three forever. I'm starting to get to the point, and I've gotten to the point where I'd be shocked if he was a member of the Golden State Warriors next season. It's not because he hates the Warriors or the Warriors hate him or whatnot. It's just sometimes you come to a point where it's time to move on. The Giants finally got to that point with Brendan Belt, right?
Well, I think that's like the Giants are the ultimate cautionary tale.
Right.
I think that's the one thing I don't want to see happen to the Warriors is becoming the forever Giants, where they hang on too long. It just feels like we were never out from underneath that final 4 or 5 years of going nowhere, and like right now, Brandon Crawford still wants to play. Where is Brandon Crawford? Playing in St. Louis. Brandon Crawford, I don't know if I may be sure to some people he's on the level of Klay Thompson. I don't know. But he's very beloved, I guess, is where I'm going at with this. I don't want to compare the two, but he's very, very beloved. I couldn't imagine in my head him playing for any other team. He still wants to play. His interest didn't necessarily align with the Giants' interest. Mm-hmm. I believe if Brandon Crawford was still in San Francisco, we probably wouldn't see Brett Wisely as much as we've seen him. Mm-hmm. Like even close to that, right? I don't even know if we get a chance to see Luciano earlier this year. So like, I feel like it was time to move on for both parties, but his interest, he wanted to keep playing. And the Giants were like, we love you. We want you to be a forever Giant. We want you to finish your career here. Unfortunately, like we have to turn the page. So like, I feel like, I don't know if we're here right at this moment with the Warriors and Klay, but I think that their interests clearly aren't aligned currently.
I do worry about this. And I don't know why I worry about this, but I do. I'm afraid that if he does move on, that little nuggets here and there throughout the season that could maybe taint Klay Thompson may come out. And what I mean by that is you always hear stories after the fact, well, this guy didn't participate in this meeting, or this guy was late to practice, or this guy. You always hear something, right, after the fact. There's always something that you hear about a player or a coach or whatnot. Like Darvin Ham got fired, right? And you start hearing about Darvin Ham. Oh, he lost the team in February, blah, 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 blah.
You float, people float things out there so they could win the divorce.
Win the divorce and protect themselves.
Yes.
Protect themselves and say, hey, we're good. We did our job over here. We're getting out in front of it. We're good. I'm afraid that may happen with Klay Thompson if that does happen. Like,
what do you mean?
What I mean is that I'm afraid that, boy, we may not taint his legacy, because his legacy is cemented with the Golden State Warriors, but we may start to hear things, possibly. You start hearing little nuggets here and there with KD years, right? Uh-huh. It helps shape how the fans view KD after he left. And you started hearing some of those things.
I don't know. I don't remember. Like, I'm just trying to think about KD, because I think that's an interesting one. People are very torn on KD. I think he was a great Warrior. I don't remember them being like, he didn't show up to practice. Or
no, it wasn't that. I'm not saying a specific incident.
Okay.
I'm just using hypotheticals here.
Yeah.
Where there's start thinking, oh, KD was by himself, or KD didn't hang out, or KD was this.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? It could be anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be exact, not literal. Like, oh, Klay Thompson missed practice. No, that's nothing. It's not literal. Yeah. But I'm afraid that stories like that, or store little nuggets where it makes Klay look like he wasn't a team player, and it could shape how the fans view it. Because as Phil said, we're an extension of the fan base, right? The fans want to hear from us because they want to know what's going on inside and out. I'm afraid that things may come out that may taint Klay Thompson and not taint his legacy or anything like that, but will just shape how fans say, see, he's selfish. Thank God he's out of here.
Well, look, time heals all wounds, right? Like there was a time where Jeff Kent or even Brian Wilson coming back to the Giants, we would have booed the ever-living.
Has Jeff Kent even came back?
He came for the 2002. I thought he was there for the 2002 little reunion that they had.
Was he there?
I could have sworn.
I don't even remember. Yeah, that's how I don't even remember.
Well, I know Brian Wilson was recently at AT&T, and it ended very ugly.
Right.
And he did things very publicly, okay, during games and before games, publicly to the Giants. And I feel like Giants fans, like, enough time has passed, and I'm sure there's always going to be a couple of people that hate on you, but, like, you come back around, T.O., right? It didn't end great. It didn't end great on either side. And I think that when I saw him get announced at the pregame when he finally got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he got a great standing ovation.
But it took like 20 years. It was damn 20 years. Well,
I'm not saying, like, I don't know how long these things take, but I just know this. When it's all said and done, I think he has unbelievable amounts of goodwill in a majority of the fan bases. I think everyone's going to give him the most unreal standing ovation of all time.
They will. I mean, hey, I'm not saying that. But there's going to be some, you get what I'm saying, though. There's always stories that, like Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham helped the Lakers get to the Western Conference Finals, and then they lose in 5 to the Denver Nuggets. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he's fired, stories are coming out. Well, he lost the team this. Oh, this happened there. Oh, that happened there. Oh, these little quotes here and there. And it's just like, damn. One day after the guy got fired, all of a sudden we're coming out all these nuggets to protect ourselves.
Let's look at the track record.
I don't think the Warriors will do that, but I am a little afraid. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little afraid.
Well, I think it kind of comes with the territory when there's divorces. There's going to be murmurs and things like that. And you can't control them. Some fake and made up to just help win the divorce, and some are real. I look at the track record for the Warriors. They could have just thrown Mark Jackson under the bus for months and months on end, and I felt like it was like, hey, we're turning the page.
Well, you start hearing the stories about Mark Jackson, though, right?
Well, that was also former people that worked with him, too.
His stories got out.
I don't know. If Klay did something that warrants somebody saying something, then that's up to him to, like, ultimately be judged. That's not up to us. And, I think I'm going to think of him fondly, even if he has to move on. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I can't worry about winning the divorce in terms of the tabloids and things like that. I just don't think that that's worth energy. I'm more worried about, like, how can they, like, win next year for right now, whether that's with him or without him.
Sam Charania on Klay Thompson.
This is something we've been talking about for months. For the first time in his career, really, Klay Thompson, I'm told, is open to all external options in free agency coming up. He intends to test free agency. We know the Warriors want him back. They offered him an extension before the start of the season. They're going to see if there can be a deal that gets done, but he's going to be there in the marketplace, seeking offers elsewhere. Could an Orlando step up? What team out there could step up for Klay Thompson? That is going to be the big question, but the Warriors will stay in touch with him and see exactly where he's going to end up going. If he does leave the Warriors, that call with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, that's going to be the most difficult call Klay Thompson's made, possibly ever.
That's Sam Charania on Klay Thompson, that he will test free agency. He will test. I don't think there's really a surprise there.
Draymond tested free agency, correct?
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
He signed on the first.
Yeah, like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but he did. He tested free agency.
Right. What do you think? You think Klay's going to be back?
I don't think that he hops on a phone call with Draymond, Steph, and Steve Kerr simultaneously. No, I don't think that happens. Do you
think he's back?
It feels like it is totally up in the air.
Like, where do the Warriors stand on this? Are they even interested in him coming back?
Well, the fact that you're, like, worried about what that might come out, like, now I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, is there more to this? Like, I hadn't even thought of that point. I really hadn't, Bonte, and I'm not saying that you're wrong in thinking that, because This happens all the time with every team, no matter how much of a person's legacy is cemented with that organization. Little stuff does come out over time. But I hadn't even thought about that. And now I'm quite like, well, wait a minute. Do they know more about this and we don't?
Because you know how these stink pieces work. Somebody leaves off. Somebody moves on. And all of a sudden you get the article. It's like, yeah, they just didn't see eye to eye. And then there's a little nugget about something that may happen.
Well, did Portland do that with Dame Lillard?
I don't remember. But there was a disconnect with Dame Lillard and the Portland Trail Blazers organization.
At the end,
and all the different variations of the stories. Hell, for example, Draymond Green and Jordan Poole situation. Chris Haynes reporting one thing. Steph Curry's like, yo, Chris, you're wrong. You know what I'm saying? You had a disconnect there. I don't know what it was. Maybe somebody tried to get out in front of the story. I have no idea, but these things happen. But do people now think Klay's gone? Is he for sure? Are we even sure the Warriors want him back? I don't even